Well, good morning or good evening, depending on what part of the world you are from. Now, today's topic, many people have covered in many different ways, and I'm going to try to discuss with you how Google censorship works from my point of view, looking at other people's channels and other people's uploads. And different people have different amounts of subscribers. So you can always expect to have higher view counts as your subscriber base grows. But that's not what I see when I take a particular subject. In this case, today's topic, if you were to go into the top of the page and Google roasted pig, you'll see several pages of roasted pig videos. Some of them are really, 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 really good. And I've watched them and say, now that's an amazing video. And they have 10, 12, 13 million views. Good morning, Scott. We're doing well. I'm just going over some of my view counts on some of my videos. And then I compared it with other people's videos and how many subscribers they had as a subscriber base. And nothing seems to make any sense. So that's what this topic is going to be about. And anything else that you'd like to have the topic about, that's fine and well also. Good morning, Samuel. So what I discovered is I just searched roasted pig or how to roast a pig. So I put out a video, which is a cute little video, a few minutes long, 4 minutes long, of how to roast a pig. And it shows a pig on a pipe with some children walking around and adults walking around the roast. And I explained how the pig is roasted over, in this case, it was burning coconut shells or coconut lumber, anything that would burn, and then that there is no fire underneath the pig, so that when the fat drips down off the pig, it doesn't burn back up and carbonize on the pig. And I received 500 views in 2 months. Now that shouldn't actually be possible because I have 17,000 subscribers. So I am quite certain that Google is censoring my 17,000 subscribers by unsubscribing them to my channel, or at least not sending updates. So that's one form of censorship which has been proven over and over again. People with every size channel, from 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers to 1 million subscribers, are saying unequivocally that Google, if Google doesn't like your video content or any video content on your channel, they unsubscribed as many. One person had 125,000 subscribers, and his views went from, let's say, 10,000 views in 2 days down to 1,500 views in 2 days. So that's proportionate to how many views my video should normally get, where I have 17,000 subscribers on YouTube and 3,000 on Google. So proportionately, I was typically getting a year and a half ago 3,000 views per video. Now my views have gone down to about 500 views per video. So that's 1/6. And the person who had 125,000 subscribers and would get 10,000 views, their views went down to 1,500. That's 1/6. So they must just push a button. But this is unfair in other topics and on other people's channels. From what I see, I'm looking at a channel. I won't mention the man's name or the channel name, but he has 9,000 subscribers. And he posted a Lechin Baboy, how to roast a pig, basically, 19 hours ago. And he has 55 views on that video. Now, he may have a little bit more, but that's what it shows. And then he has another roasted pig video from a few months back with 1,500 views. But he has 9,000 subscribers. But what I noticed on his channel is that all of his other videos somehow are related to Christian ministries, or praising the Lord in one form or another. And many of the video titles have the word Jesus and Jesus associated with the church and Jesus associated with the ministries. And for the 8,000 subscriber base that he had, he's getting the lowest view counts that I've seen proportionately to his views, even lower than mine. He's getting like 1/8 the views of mine. So because he's, this is my opinion, it's my theory, but because he's mentioning Jesus in the titles of the video and ministries and this and that, they're censoring his Jesus videos. Now, it could be something else altogether. You would say maybe it has to do with pork and the Muslim world and the fact that Muslims now have a large say in what's allowed to be posted on the internet. But that argument I went through, and by looking at several pages of videos, I don't see that to be a factor. Just the pork factor itself, I don't see that to be a factor, because what I see is people with small channels like mine, 15, 16,000 views, have 13 million views on their roasted pig video. So, but they don't have any controversial videos on their channel. They don't have political opinion. They don't do political commentary. They don't do political comment. So I think, from based on my videos and also my playlists, I have some really odd names in my playlists because I have an eclectic selection of uploads that cross cover every topic under the sun. I have videos about chemtrails. They don't like people with videos about chemtrails. Proof of that is if you were to walk up to any government official anywhere in the United States and they're outside and you ask them to look up and tell us what those 1,000 lines in the sky are, the government official will say those are clouds or water vapor from jet exhaust, and they're called contrails. And that's a lie. And the same way they lie to you about that is the same way that Google censors anybody who has videos about chemtrails on their channel. Now, mine go much, much, much more harsh on government policies than most other bloggers. So what has happened is I don't think 5% of my subscriber base are getting my upload notices. And I can't do anything about that. It's not my company. But I'm just describing to you one of the reasons that my channel, in my opinion, is being censored is that I have videos up about chemtrails. I have hundreds of videos that are political comedy regarding Mr. Obama and Mrs. Clinton and Trump. They don't like that. They don't want anybody saying anything bad about Mr. Obama. Somehow he skated through 8 years of public outcry, and he is persona non grata when it comes to making videos about him in a negative light. And I am the most outspoken person on YouTube against Mr. Obama and his policies. And why? Okay, I have videos about Mr. Obama being in a church with Jeremiah Wright, who was his pastor for 20 years, spewing hate speech to the entire congregation. And when Mr. Obama was asked about Jeremiah Wright's speeches, that he sat up in the front row for 20 years, if there was any kind of racial intonations in the speeches or anything against any nationalities, he had an unequivocal no. When there are thousands of uploads by Jeremiah Wright stating racial division or racial divisiveness. Okay, so Obama was lying, and I made videos about that, and those videos would get 40 views even when I had 5,000 subscribers. They just censored my Obama videos beyond recognition. So anything that was really derogatory in original YouTube terms in 2010, that was okay. But then when Google took it over, my original Obama videos would get 10, 5,000, 3,000, 50,000, 100,000 views from 2010 until the time I lost my first channel. So when I had my second channel, I put a lot of those videos back up, most of them back up, and they went from getting 10 to 50,000 views to 40 views to 138 views. That's what I was looking at this morning. So it's the same video that had 50,000 views now has like 400 views on it, or had, until I shut it off and moved it over to my Patreon account. Because I have to admit, even I stepped not over the line, but I kept my foot very close to the line in breaking every rule that existed in my political commentaries and videos. There is a difference, and YouTube knows the difference. And they didn't even take the monetization off the videos. They just cut down anybody's ability to see the video unless they had the actual title. So it wasn't like I broke the law, or it wasn't like I broke any of YouTube's guidelines. They just didn't want to hear it or see it, so they bury it. And the only way that you'll ever see it again is to take the actual title, which is impossible to know, and then put it into the search engine, and then the video will pop up just fine. But if you're off one letter of the entire title, it won't show up in the search engine. So that's another form of censorship, that when Google doesn't like something, they can just bury your videos. Now, I have 2,500 public videos right now. You can go to my page and Google almost any topic, and there's going to be something that's going to come up. You can Google, if you Google walking steel, there's going to be videos of me walking steel or monking on top of some sheets for the dock division. If you Google tugboats, you're going to see my father's tugboat or me operating barges and cranes. If you Google marine construction, you're going to come to hundreds of videos about me doing marine construction with my cranes and barges and other equipment. If you Google pictures of decks and docks, you're going to come up with several videos of decks and docks that I built. Nice decks and docks, real high quality, high end. So my videos are eclectic, but because I have the Obama videos, and also I made videos about Al Sharpton, and I made videos about Hillary Clinton, all of a negative connotation, all of them are still monetized, just all of them get no views. So this week I was looking to give you an idea. When I say no views, typically I'm getting 3,700 comments a month. So many that I don't even bother to watch or look at the comments because I just don't have time for that. But yesterday morning, I went to my analytics page and I looked. And in an hour, at 7 o'clock in the morning, in an hour, 7 o'clock in the morning, my time, 7 o'clock in the evening, Saturday night, in 1 hour, I had 27 views in an hour. Now it's 2,500 videos and 20,000 YouTube and Google subscribers. How is it possible that on a Saturday night, only 27 views in an hour? When 2 years ago, the same analytics page on a Saturday night would have read 500 views in an hour, 700 views in an hour on Saturday night. Let's say it's 7 o'clock Saturday night, somewhere between 500 and 1,000 views in 1 hour. So I know that they shut down my subscriber base and their ability to see posted videos and uploads. As again, I'm going to read the comments for a minute here, as I can't do anything about it. I'm just telling you. And then I'm going to go back telling you what's occurring. Then I'm going to go back to the roasted pig videos. where the man who has 8,700 subscribers got a lousy 55 views as of now, and his video's been up for 10 hours. How is this possible? It's not. It's because of his Christian ministry series that he has. You get another guy that just puts out fluff garbage on YouTube, just fluff garbage, any kind of sycophant type of music, rap music with people with their pants down around their knees, any type of the garbage like that. They get, 10,000, 20,000 views on a hip hop video, and their channel only has 1,500 subscribers or even less. Okay, so somebody with less than 2,000 subscribers is getting 10,000 views on a hip hop video that they're just taking a hip hop video and they're reloading it onto their page, and they get. This is crazy. This is just crazy what they're doing. Okay, I'm gonna see Samuel's at work. Tunnel Rat, hello. Okay, I'm gonna go right up to the top of the page, and I'll go down. Tunnel Rat, thanks for stopping by. Scott, Gobble is a leftist company, and the algorithms are used to drop your accounts due to libertarian and conservative-leaning topics. And the censorship goes on by more than words. Okay, what a lot of people don't understand is that it's no longer necessary for the Google algorithm to hear the words in your video saying that Mr. Obama has huge feet. Okay, they don't need to hear those words anymore to find a derogatory connotation in the sentence or words that you speak. You can show a picture of Mr. Obama with like triple-sized feet, and the Google algorithm and the artificial intelligence will pick that up as what is called a caricature that is against their rules. Now, if Cinderella had huge feet, it wouldn't be censored. But to show Mr. Obama out of proportion, that would be censored. Now, I can't do stuff like that because I don't work with memes. I think they call it memes. I don't work with any of that stuff. But what I'm telling you, you can now have a picture in the background that the Google artificial intelligence picks up. Let's say you had a picture of some, Pol Pot dictator in the background, and then you put the words "yes, we can" on the picture. Well, the artificial intelligence sees that and prorates it or degrades your view counts. They don't have to hear words anymore. You don't have to type stuff in the comments section. The artificial intelligence reads the picture, or pretty much reads the picture, and then determines whether or not the video is going to get view counts. Now, I can't prove that Google is doing that, but I can prove that artificial intelligence has the ability to see a picture and determine the general notation of the picture, or the general concept of the picture. And that's been proven. It was 10 years ago that it could do that. But now Google and YouTube have modified the artificial intelligence to where it picks up everything. It even picks up the inflection of your voice. If you're speaking, let's say you were screaming out a particular word phrase. Well, it rates that word phrase according to your tonal, the intonations of your voice. It rates that as if you were to say the same word phrase in a normal tone of voice. Okay, so Google definitely has this ability because they're the biggest company in the world, and they're definitely doing it. So I'm gonna read the comments just for a minute. Samuel says, "Good morning, Daisy." Daisy just went outside, Samuel. She's doing something. She always is. Tunnel Rat, you are on it, Fazio. Everybody is being censored these days, but most people are too stupid to understand it, to know it. You know, what is there to really understand? I can't even post a video that says to my subscribers to click the bell because you've been unsubscribed. So I have 17,000 subscribers. Well, 17,600 subscribers now. I can't even send out a video to say that you've been unsubscribed because Google doesn't send out the video. It's total control. And then it's going to get worse. It's definitely going to get worse. So how did I get my subscriber base? I got my subscriber base from being controversial. How did I? And normally I would get 2,000 to 3,000 views on every video posted when I had 12,000 subscribers 2 years ago. But now with 50% more subscribers, I'm getting about 1/8 as many views. It's not fair, but it's what's happening. So I'll go back to the comments. I'm just trying to keep words coming from my mouth so people don't lose interest. This is really happening. Daisy, the door, please. This is really happening. It's not something that people are making up. Now, when I don't know much about Republicans and Democrats, and what I will tell you is that every politician I ever met is so corrupt that they were all so corrupt. There's no way to explain how corrupt politicians are. They all are corrupt. The Congress, now this is a controversial subject coming up right now. The Congress, oh boy, the Congress and the Senate gave Benjamin Netanyahu, if my memory serves me correctly, 27 standing ovations when he came to the country while Obama was president. The standing ovations were not 10 seconds or 20 seconds. Some of them were a minute or minute and a half long. And he had to actually just wait for people to, the wondrous clapping. It didn't stop. Okay. Now, how is this possible? And this is what's wrong with America. Our country is controlled by pretty much people of a dual citizenship to America and Israel. So if you are pro-Israel, you are going to be slammed with comments. You're going to get views and comments like you wouldn't believe. But if you mention the fact that only 2% of the population of America, and here we go, here goes my view counts again. If you mention the fact that only 2% of America is Jewish, half of those are women and probably not involved with Congress or the Senate. But although any woman in the Congress or the Senate, probably 75% of them are Jewish. But let's just narrow it down by the numbers. 2% of America's population is Jewish. 1% is men. Take half of that and say they're ineligible to be in the Senate or the Congress. So you have a half a percentage point of the population that now dominates both the Republican and the Democratic Party. Take that 70% Jewish or married to a Jewish husband or wife, and add to that before you can become a member of Congress or the Senate, you have to take an oath to Israel, stating that your alliance follows true to what is good for America because Israel says what's good for America. You can't break that oath. There is a video on YouTube. I can't put the links in anymore because if I put the links into that, Google will even censor my videos more. But she said she was going to become a member of Congress. And before she could become a member of Congress and to sign up to be voted in, she would have to swear an oath to Israel, or not to Israel directly, to AIPAC, which is an Israeli organization. So even if only 50% of the members of Congress and the Senate are Jewish, take the fact that they swear an oath to AIPAC to uphold what AIPAC wishes for the American people, and combine that with many of that 50% are dual citizens to both America and Israel. And now take that and combine it with the fact that they are swearing an oath to AIPAC, and yet they swear an oath to protect America's sovereignty, both foreign, against any kind of attack, both foreign and domestic. Well, which one overrides which one? Well, apparently, anything that Israel wants, Israel gets, and apparently that their oath against an attack, both foreign and domestic, that's gone out the window. Now, if you talk about certain subjects, then you can get the video removed and possibly a strike. So I can't get involved with that. But right now, I can still talk about the high-tech computer programs are being outsourced to other countries, China and Israel, mostly. Some are going to Japan, and some are going to other countries with smaller ability to do high technology, but which gives Israel an entire platform to review what's going on in our technology. But it also gives, they also outsourced Windows 10 to an Israeli IT company, which now controls how Windows 10 works, okay, which is the operating system for most of the new computers. So basically, Israel has a back door to every Windows 10 computer if they so desire. This is not in the best interest of America. So now, because I say this, and artificial intelligence will pick this up, this video will go nowhere other than the few people that are watching it now. But I didn't break any guidelines. I only told you the truth. It's happening. Our country is being, America is being destroyed. Now, going on to another topic, illegal immigration. Okay, I've gone over these numbers before. These are real numbers. Donald Trump says illegal immigration costs $100 billion a year right now, today, for illegal immigration. But the Congress and the Senate won't agree to build the wall. And why? Because they're getting paid off in, everybody here seems to think, these young people seem to think that the only way to get paid off is with a check over the counter. There are many different ways to pay off a congressman and a senator to vote your way about illegal immigration and not funding the border wall. One way is to pay them straight up and down cash, which there is an endless supply of cash. If the Federal Reserve needs to make money, they just make it. They just say that we have more investors in property for mortgages, and people put down a bond that they say they're going to pay off $3 million in mortgage, and they put down $300,000 on the property, and then the Federal Reserve prints up $2,700,000 in cash monies. That's one way. Another way is to guarantee a person a better position, a judgeship, or a senator seat, or a seat in Congress. They can't guarantee it, but they can give them enough money to defeat their opponent. That's another way. So they could be guaranteed a special job, where if you become a member of Congress just for a few months, you retire with a full pension immediately. It's like $178,000 a year. It covers dental, medical, and your, it covers your pension covers $178,000 a year, even if you only work for Congress or the Senate for 6 months, and you don't have to wait until you're 66 to collect this. So theoretically, if I became a senator or a congressman and my salary was $200,000 and I could only do it for 6 months for whatever reason, I collect $178,000 a year for the rest of my life, even if I get another job. Why? Because that's how they bribe people to go, and when they lobby for a particular war machine contract, whatever it is, some guy that makes paint. I use paint because everything in the world has some sort of coating on it. I use paint because the guy who's selling paint to the military, the green paint or the black paint or the gray paint that they spray things with, is probably making $200 or $300 million a year in profit from a simple product like paint. So how does this go on? This is ridiculous. A can of paint in the store, a good can of Rust-Oleum is $5, or it used to be. A good can of the same color paint in Caterpillar yellow, let's just use the color yellow. A good can of Rust-Oleum in yellow might be $5, might be $7 with all these ridiculous taxes, but let's just say $5. Caterpillar paint is $15 for a spray can, an 11-ounce spray can. But military paint, which is the same quality as Caterpillar or less, is like $30 per can. So it's double the price of Caterpillar, who makes money at $15 a can, because it costs them maybe $7 or $6 a can to make the can, label the can, put the paint in the can, ship the can, costs maybe $6 or $7. So at $15, they're making, say, $8. But the military paint at $30 a can, well, now they're making $24 per can. So how do you bribe somebody? You give them a contract, or tell them that you're somebody in your district that makes paint for the military, that wants a contract or wants to make paint for the military. We can give this person in your district a contract if you vote a certain way. And then the person in the district that makes the paint gives you money in cash. But it doesn't have to be cash. It could be a bag of diamonds. It could be gold ingots. It could be platinum. It could be a car or an SUV to your nephew. Okay, and then your nephew lets you use it. Somebody that's 2 family members away from you is given a brand new Lexus that's $160,000, and then they sell it to you on paper for $150,000, but you only give them $10,000 or nothing. Okay, there's all kinds of bribery. So because I mentioned how people can be bribed, and the fact that Congress and the Senate have to sign an agreement to never go against the will of Israel, this country is being destroyed. And if you say anything about this topic, then your channel is censored. Now, do I care? Not so much. If I did, I wouldn't make this kind of video. But one of the reasons for this video is I saw somebody do a video or a live stream, we'll just leave it at that, saying that my channel, my last Google censorship video about Google censorship, it's not because I'm being censored, it's because my videos are garbage. Well, that's not the case. Okay, their videos are garbage, and he's projecting, but my videos are not garbage. I can walk down any block anywhere within a 10-mile radius, and 100 people will say, "Hey, Mike, how you doing?" Or, "Hey, Rabbi, how you doing?" Or, "I know you," and say hello, shake my hand, come up. I tell them you want to make a YouTube video. I did that on the beach when we went to a party a few days ago. Okay, I know the guys, but they all know me. I know the beach, but every one of these guys knows my name. Okay, everybody knows, everybody likes me. So it's not that my videos aren't user-friendly to the people in the Philippines. It's certainly not that people act in a negative fashion to me. It's that I make these other controversial videos. So I had a neighbor, and I'm not going to make a video using his name until I'm done in New York and back in the United States. I had a neighbor that was so effing rich he was worth $100 million back in the early 80s. He was worth $100 million. Why? Because he was in a position to know and be part of condemning certain buildings on Park Avenue, Park Slope West. Okay, so they condemned entire blocks of buildings that were worth, say, I don't know, $300,000 a piece, because he had several at that time. Now they condemned the entire area, and you could buy those buildings back from the city with no ability to rebuild for like $5,000. So he bought like 20 buildings under his name. And immediately, a year and a half to 2 years later, the city uncondemned the area, and the buildings were worth $1 million each. So now he made $20 million on this deal. So what he did, just reinvested that money and bought many more properties in another area of the Bronx in the same position. So now he has $20 million worth of property, and he refinances those properties he bought it for $7,000, $8,000. Maximum was the most amount he bought on the building. And and now the property became worth $1 million. So he can borrow up to $500,000 or $750,000 to fix the building up. And then he had his own contracting company, which was his brother-in-law, that would give him bills for $750,000 when the cost of the actual improvement might have been $350,000 or $400,000. And why do I know this? Why? Because I worked on those projects. They called them the Cinderella projects back in the 1970s. And I worked on many of his projects like that in the Bronx and also in Brooklyn. I mean, he has a property 2 doors away from Park Slope West, which is now what do they call it? Trendies, the rich young people, whatever they are. I forget what they're called. Okay, but he had 20 properties in a 2-block radius, because everybody involved. He would have had 100, but everybody involved in politics bought a certain amount of properties, and just that many. Then there were only so many to go around. It was like a 4-block wide by 2-block deep off Park Slope West. So he made $20 million on a $140,000 investment in just 2 years. So if you think that you need to be bribed with cash, somebody can tell you that those condemned buildings over there are going to be uncondemned in 2 years. It would be good if you bought 2 or 3 of those buildings, and your investment will pay off. And that's a bribe. That's a legal bribe. And no one can prove it. You could just say, well, I was very smart with my investment. So that's another way to be bribed. Okay, Samuel is working hard. Thank you, Samuel. Okay. Video feed is messed up because I live in the Philippines. But like I said in a previous video, today isn't an open free-for-all with comments. I'm only going to respond to my subscriber base on Patreon. And if someone wants to buy us a hamburger, and by the way, Blue Rose, if you're out there, and Pam Kerr, if you're out there, we did a super chat dinner and put your name in it. But my camera, I left my camera on and the battery died. We had to do it with a cell phone, unfortunately. And I have it still in my cell phone. But Daisy and I went out for dinner Friday night after she got her hair done. And because of your super chat dinners, what I call a super chat donation, hamburger donation, we did go out to dinner and have a great, I had salmon with, and Daisy had some kind of, it was a delicious, it was steak. It was basically like a steak meat with garlic and onions and We both had mashed potatoes. Thank you for the super chat dinner. Okay. All right. So Samuel is saying goodbye to somebody who was, I don't know why, and I don't care. Samuel's in charge of, Samuel wields the wrench. Okay. And it was nice talking to you, Samuel. Thanks for the conversation. It was interesting. Samuel is a person that junks metal for a living. So if you don't know who Samuel is, he gets up every morning and gets in a truck by himself, puts on his own work clothes, not some government agency's work clothes, and goes out and looks for scrap metal. He told me that scrap metal is now $175 a ton. And if you think it's easy to collect a ton of scrap metal, it's not, number one, unless you find 10, 15 old radiators, which is basically anybody who pulls the old radiators out of the old buildings is going to bring those to the scrapyard because it's easy money. But for somebody to find, when I was young, you could find 50 radiators in a pile in front of the building. You could weigh your truck down and blow your springs and your chassis apart. But now, not so. So Samuel has to go out with an axe and a couple of different size hammers and a couple of different size crowbars and burning torches, either propane or acetylene, and cut this stuff up on the site where he's going to get the metal from. And then he has to put that equipment, roll his hoses back up, and then then he has to cut it into small enough pieces to hump it onto his truck. And then he has to cover it to bring it to a junkyard. So he might spend 2 days to get a ton of steel. And out of that, you don't find copper anymore. You don't find brass. You don't find any kind of wire anymore. So Samuel breaks his butt sometimes 10, 15 hours a day. And then if you come on here and he wields the wrench, I want you to know who he is. He's a working class hero, according to John Lennon. I'm a working class hero. Scott is a working class hero. We all have to answer to somebody. We're not rich. We're not the elite. We're not Congress that can do whatever the hell they want. The Senate does whatever the hell they want. We are working class heroes, and most people that are watching this live stream are in the same position. So that's who Samuel is, a working class hero. And he's actually taken up his time to read all the comments and discern whether or not they're legitimate or not. But don't say things. Now, I'm not allowing anybody to mention anybody else's channel by name or infer something about anybody else's channel, good or bad. I'm done with that. Especially people that don't have a real channel to work from. I'll click on your icon. I go to your channel. You have no subscribers, no video, no liked videos, no video uploads, no content at all. And then you have no associated channels. Your opinion doesn't count to me. There are 3 people's opinion that count to me. My very, very long-term subscribers that I know and recognize who they are. But they're third. My Patreon members are number 1 because they provide me with a donation to keep my video uploads going. Because for what I make on YouTube, it doesn't pay the electric bill, the cost of external drives, thumb drives, and or the internet service a month. It might break even monetarily wise, but it doesn't give me any monies for myself. So my Patreon members supply me with a certain amount of money each month, which allows me to continue making videos. Otherwise, I would just put up a video and I would disable the comments, and I might put up something that you enjoy, not enjoy. I don't care anymore. If you don't have something worthwhile to say and you're not a long-term subscriber, I'm not interested. If you're not a member of my Patreon account, then we're going to go through. Number 1, Patreon members, they get serviced on the comments. Number 2, people that donate a hamburger, the cost of the hamburger to me and Daisy so we can go out and have a meal once in a while on your dime, okay? If you don't think it's reasonable that I spend 2 or 3 hours, 5 hours a week doing live streams and making videos another 10 hours a week. If you don't think my time is worth any money, well, I really don't care what you think anymore. Okay, you're not worth the effort. If you're not doing, I'm supplying you, whether you like what I say or not, you're here watching, and I'm supplying you with a form of entertainment that if you went to the movies with your wife or your children, you'd have to pay 4 times $13 to get into a movie, $60. Now, I'm sure your children are not watching this because they have no interest in me. But if you went to a movie with your wife, you're going to spend $30 on gas and popcorn and the cost of the movie. So if you come here and you can't donate money for a super chat dinner, I understand that. But don't come on here and then tell me, well, you know, I'm not set up to do a super chat. I don't care about that. So that's the second tier of people I care about are people who donate money to the super chat so Daisy and I can have a hamburger. For our 3 hours yesterday, there were no super chats. For the day before, 3 hours and 40 minutes yesterday, there were no super chat donations. Fine, that's okay. The day before, 3 hours, no super chat donations. But those days I went through every comment. Today, we're not going through those comments. You can comment. You can ask other people on the chat window questions. You can converse between yourselves, but I'm not going to address your questions. If you don't feel my time is worth anything, then why should I donate any of my time to you? It's strictly business, nothing personal. Thank you. Now we're going to go back to this. Okay, so and then there are that group of people that would like to donate, but they don't have the money because the economy is so bad. Even though Trump trumps it up to be the greatest economy in the world, there are people with 2 or 3 children that can't afford to buy food for their children, and they have to say, should I feed this big fat guy on YouTube and his girlfriend, or should I feed my children? Go feed your children. Just, I can't help, but you know, I can't address every comment because yesterday we went into the 3 hour and 40 mark, and I don't see that to be necessary. So my opinion counts more than yours. Patreon members account more than yours, and then super chat donations count more than yours, and then there's my long-term, lifelong subscribers. Carl Etheridge. Hello, Philippines. I will be there when I retire, but I will be there to visit next year. Who are you going to visit? In order for you to visit me, you would have to have a real channel or be a member of my Patreon account. And then so that I would have to get to know you over several months before you come to visit. So, and a real channel doesn't cut it for me anymore because people can say anything they want. So if you were serious about coming to visit me and you were a member of my Patreon account, which everybody that has come to visit me is, or they have been a long-term subscriber for 7, 8 years, they are welcome. But new people coming to visit me, few and far between. But you know, that's the way I work this out. I could spend all day with Carl Etheridge, whoever he is. Might be the president of a big, you know, Rand Corporation, and he might be a regular guy like me that worked his whole life. But why do I want to devote an entire day? This is going back to what it's worth, what my time is worth. The last 2 people that came to visit had a wonderful time. Peekaboo 2 and another man. We won't mention his name. A very big builder in America. Eric, oh, I can mention his, Eric Larson, a huge builder. Okay, so Peekaboo has been following me for years. I mean, his comments go back for years. And the builder is something that I want, person that I would be interested to meet because he's, you know, he builds his building several hundred units not so far from here. And I wanted to go to his job site and make some videos. But Carl Etheridge wants to come. Maybe he wants to come and visit me. Maybe he wants to visit the Philippines. But I have to devote an entire day to meeting somebody for 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon. Because if I meet them close by the house in Alona Beach, I have to prepare myself. Daisy has to prepare herself, take a shower and shave and get there, and then spend 2 or 3 hours chatting, and then go home and then take another shower because that place is so dusty and so much car exhaust. It makes your body sticky. Okay, so now so if I want to meet somebody at 5 o'clock, I have to start preparing at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Stop whatever my work is, put everything away, lock everything down, take a shower. I get to Alona Beach a little early to make a video, and then I get home at 8 o'clock at night. So it's a full 6, 7, sometimes 8-hour day. And Carl, if he's talking about me, thinks that he's going to come and destroy an 8-hour day of mine because he wants to meet me. Let him, Carl. If he was a member of my Patreon account and contributed something for my time to make videos, I would entertain the thought of meeting him. But if no longer will I do that. A person that I made that came to visit me a year and a half ago, what a great guy. And his wife, what a wonderful lady. I mean, wonderful people, both professionals in their fields, okay? Well, we got ready. They came and stopped by, and we found it interesting to meet them, and they invited us to a wedding. Well, the wedding was, by the time I took pre-wedding video, about 2 hours of pre-wedding videos, and then that was the day before and the morning of the wedding, and then we got dressed. After I came back from making pre-morning videos, we got dressed to go there, and we left the house at maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We didn't get home till 11 o'clock at night. And then the next day, I spent 7 hours loading videos from the 3 cameras that I used to my hard drives. And then when they came, they brought me an external hard drive to load it back onto their hard drive. So I put all the videos in order and titled them, which took several hours. And then in turn, they brought a 500 gig hard drive, and then in turn I gave them 500 gigs, just about 450 gigs of video. It was like several hours of nonstop video of the wedding, plus several hours the day before, plus other videos that I had about the area that they're in. So now I have a 10-hour day at the wedding, a 5-hour day the day before, 2 hours to talk to the people the day before that. I have 17 hours invested into this, plus a few hours the next day, maybe 4 hours the next day. They took us out to dinner, which none of us ate or none of us enjoyed. Not because the people bought us a cheap dinner. They took us to the nicest restaurant in an area outside Alona Beach, but the food sucked. Okay, it wasn't their fault. They didn't know the food was going to suck. I got a hamburger that was made out of cornflakes. Another lady got chicken cordon bleu with a cockroach about, and I'm not exaggerating, it was that big. And when it came out the door of the kitchen, it wasn't from the kitchen. When it came out the door of the kitchen, the cockroach must have flew straight into could have been an accident. I mean, the roach probably maybe it was retarded. But when it flew into the chicken cordon bleu, it stuck into the cheese and was upside down, and the feet were going like this. It was still alive when they put it on the table. Okay, now, is that bug going to cause any kind of disease or harm? No. But we called over the manager of the restaurant, and the manager said, "Don't worry, sir, we'll take care of it." Okay, so there was a woman, and the woman took the plate and walked into the kitchen, and she probably just took a spoon and went like this and threw the roach on the floor, came back out 30, how long, 30 seconds? Daisy? 30 seconds later, she brought the same plate back out to the man, to the woman. That was his wife's dinner. Okay, so my hamburger, I wanted extra rare. I want to see blood coming out of it, I told the waiter. That's how I like my hamburger. Well, it came well done, and it wasn't hamburger. It was cornflakes with maybe eggs or something. I don't know what it was. So each person at the table tasted it and said they couldn't tell that it was a hamburger. They couldn't even tell if there was meat in it. Okay, so the man's food, he didn't enjoy at all. He had something with what was it? Sweet and sour chicken. Wasn't that the one that tasted like it was rotted?
Mine.
Oh, yours was. Okay, so you had sweet and sour. The man had sweet and sour chicken. And what did you have, Daisy?
Pancit palabok.
Pancit palabok. And yours smelled like it was rotten, right? Yeah, Daisy smelled like it was rotten. But either way, we had 7 hours before the wedding, a 10-hour day at the wedding, 17 hours. And the next day, that dinner, between conversation before we ordered the food, the disastrous dinner that they had, and then the conversation after the dinner, I have 21 hours invested into meeting these people. And the man was very nice. He brought me 100 sets of earplugs, which I use every day when I work on the machine or any kind of equipment. He gave me he brought me a speed square, but I didn't need it. I already had 2, so I told him to give it to one of his relatives. I don't need 3 speed squares. And he bought us that dinner, and at the wedding, we had a wonderful dinner. But 21 hours of my life for one visitation, for a lousy dinner, which wasn't his fault, for a great dinner at the wedding, it just is not worth my time. So, well, Carl Eldridge, that's okay. There's no problem with my misunderstanding or my misinterpretation of your thing. I just want to express my feelings about meeting people, because I get offers to meet people every day. Well, every week I get an offer. Please, maybe I will come and we can have lunch or something like that in the city. No, I don't want to go to the city and spend 2 hours in traveling and everything else that's involved with going to the city, and then another hour of conversation and 2 hours to lunch. I don't have 6 hours so that you can buy me a $5 lunch. So basically, it costs several hundred pesos to go back and forth to the city. It's 6 hour, 7 hour day, and out of that, I receive a 200 peso lunch, which is $4, and if Daisy came, it's $8. I break it all down into when I could be doing something else or relaxing. I don't want to go to the city and spend it burns up your entire day no matter what. It burns it up 100%. So I'm not interested in meeting people that want to buy me a hamburger. Now, if someone wants to donate a hamburger through Super Chat, I'll mention your name and thank you for our hamburger dinner. Or in this case, through Pam Carr and Blue Rose, we had salmon, smoked red salmon over mashed potatoes. And what was the name of yours, Daisy?
Beefsteak Tagalog.
Beefsteak Tagalog. So we thank Blue Rose and Pam Carr for our Super Chat dinner. So, Carl, I'm glad you brought up the subject matter. Thank you, Carl. There's no problem here. I just don't want to meet people and burn up my entire day for a $5 lunch. Okay. Someone said the video feed is messed up. I can't help that. That's the Philippines internet service, poor internet service at that. Okay, let's see. Thank you for the big hello, Life in the Philippines. Share the music. I went through that. Some people are not able to help out or buy us a meal. That's okay, no problem. YouTube, I have devoted enough of my life and time to addressing your comments to feel that they no longer are worth addressing. Even though your comments are good, like I said, priority, Patreon, Super Chat donations, long-term subscribers. You are none of those three. Feel free to ask anybody else any questions on the channel that you wish. Okay, I need to put my glasses on. It's getting a little bit... Not like your comments aren't worth it. I'm just not going to spend 4 hours on a live stream addressing everybody's comment. I don't feel that my time isn't going to be compensated in one way or another. Then your comments are allowed to stay, but we're not. I'm not going to address them. I don't have to. It's not my job. I don't promise anything when I start these videos, and there's no reason for you not to be able to ask somebody else these questions. Scott Del Fuego says, Samuel Smith says, no trolls allowed. Yeah, Samuel, I haven't seen a trolling comment. Samuel was right on that wrench, wielding the wrench. Scott, my foot is really well. I tell you what, Daisy, this afternoon when we dress the wound, I'll make another video for my Patreon members to show you how well it's coming along, Scott. Thank you for asking. It's really here since I'm done with the dentist and the 14 trips to the dentist and to the immigration office to do things over there. Since I'm done with all of that and I'm not walking on my foot, it's healing. Oh, I say in the last 10 days that I've been off my foot, it's healed as much as it healed in the last 2 months. So we have about a wound about the size of half a dollar now. And there is no more pain, and it's not ripping apart when I walk. Yeah, Samuel, I see. You blocked a few of them. So I guess I could go back to other methods that Google is censoring people. You're no longer allowed to criticize. Okay, I was reading. You're no longer allowed to criticize illegal immigrants from Somalia. Now, I don't remember where I read it. Thank you, Scott. Share the music, says. Share the music. If you don't have the money, it's just that simple, and it's okay. Really, it really is okay. So let me try to. It's a good question. Seems like a good question, so I'm going to address it. And hope I'm not too off topic. Have you heard of Temple OS, God's computer operating system? No, I haven't heard of that. Okay. Hold on. Let me Temple. All right, hold on. I'll Google it and I'll see what comes up. Oh, I'm always open. That sounds like something interesting. It just sounds like AI has been perfected even more. I would. No, I haven't heard of that. That's something altogether different than what I'm thinking about. It says here, Temple OS is a biblical-themed lightweight operating system designed to be the third temple prophesied in the Bible. It was created by an American programmer, Terry Alpha Davis, who developed it alone over the course of a decade and after a series of episodes that he later described as a revelation from God. Another computer engineer compared the development of Temple OS And then it goes on. No, I have never heard of that. I'm pretty leery about. I believe in higher powers giving people gifts. I believe in higher powers even performing miracles. I would have to go back and research that. And to be honest, it wouldn't be anything I would be interested in based on what I just read. I might go back and read it and find it to be interesting. And I'll tell you what, I'll give it a few minutes of, if I read it now, I could just read the, this is Wikipedia too. I have to tell you, I happen to know about things on Wikipedia, which are total crap. It was okay. So, okay, I'll read it from the beginning. Temple OS, formerly J operating system, Sparrow OS, and Luthos, is a biblical themed, lightweight operating system designed to be the third temple prophesied in the Bible. It was created by an American programmer, Terry Alfred Davis, who developed it alone over the course of a decade after a series of episodes that he later described as a revelation from God, period. The OS was released in 2013 and last updated in 2017. New paragraph. Temple OS was characterized by Davis. Oh, I scrolled down when I should have scrolled up. All right. I don't know what happened to the page. Okay, here we are. Yep. Temple OS was characterized by Davis as a modern x86-64 Commodore 64. He proclaimed that he was in direct communication with God. There's my first problem with that. Okay. I believe that this thing we call God communicates with people, but it's a God-like being and not God. And that's where a lot of people, and I disassociate our beliefs. I don't believe God per se, some little old guy with a beard, spaghetti monster up in heaven, doling out heaven and hell. And the reason that I don't believe that, because there are several thousand religions, and they all believe their God is the supreme God, and they all believe that they are gifted with words from God. But if their God is the only God, why did their God give somebody else's flock words to believe in? It just, everything about the God concept contradicts itself. Plus, all of these so-called leaders, politicians, pundits, lawyers, judges, none of them believe in God, and they take an oath and swear on the Bible that they're going to do the right thing, and they're all as corrupt as corrupt can be. So if God really existed, if God really existed, then they would be, I believe they should be hung, tried for treason, found guilty, and hung until dead. And they get away with lies and half-truths and outright deceptions thousands of times a year to the people that put them in office. So I don't believe in God per se. So God now did something, allow me to see things on my dollar bill videos that other people didn't see. And was it of a supernatural nature? Yes. But in my book, Angels on the Ark by Michael Fazio, I describe it as a God-like being. I never said it was God. It's a God-like being that gave me certain pieces of information, but only after I did enough research where this spirit entity decided, okay, let us give him some information. And I say us because it wasn't just one spirit entity. Now, other people are going to go along and say, oh, that was the devil you were talking to. Okay, I was talking to the devil. And you're right, and I'm wrong, and there's a God, and he looks like a spaghetti monster up in heaven, doling out heaven and hell. I don't believe it. So as soon as this guy says that he's in direct communication to God and that God ordered the OS to have a 640 by 480 resolution, 16 color display, and a single audio voice. It was programmed with an original variation of C named the Holy C in place of basic uses and interface similar to a mixture of DOS and Turbo. No. I'm not going along with this. I'll read another paragraph and then my head is going to start to hurt. Okay. Davis struggled with schizophrenia. Yep, here we go. And periods of homelessness throughout his adult life. Over the years, he posted hours of video blogs to social media, and by the time of his death, had amassed a small online following. One man described him as a programming legend, while another computer engineer, I got to scroll down. While another computer engineer compared the development of Temple OS to a one-man built skyscraper. Davis was killed in a train accident August 11th, 2018. Okay. Now I have the pro. If he said that there was a godlike being, to answer your question, a series of spirit entities that helped him along his path and guided him to understanding how to create that system, I would have more belief in that system. But as it stands, I'm going to go back to the comments. So I never heard of it. I read about it. It wouldn't be something that I even understand. I read the words, but I don't even understand what an 800 by 240 OS system is. So thank you, but no, I never heard of it. Okay, life in the Philippines is... Life in the Philippines, thank you. Scott Del Fuego, we lost the stream. No, I can still see people on the board there. Life in the Philippines. As I see it, it's a wonderful, beautiful day here in Quezon City, Philippines. I hope that everyone has a good day or a good night wherever they are. Well, thank you for the warm wishes. It's a beautiful day here, too. By this time yesterday, it was raining so hard we couldn't see. There's a guard booth across the street. Couldn't see it. And it was only 60 feet away. Couldn't see it. Just disappeared altogether. So, Scott Del Fuego, I think we lost the stream. It seems to still be up. I don't mean to derail you. You didn't derail me. It was an interesting storyline. Thanks for bringing it up. Somebody, I don't know who, donated $1, and then Samuel Smith deleted the message. I don't know why. If you can undo your $1, be welcome to take it back. I can't answer your question. You're welcome. Share the music. Okay. Samuel Smith, no ads. I'm sorry. I don't know what. I guess it would have to do with what ads. I'm trying to keep my live streams 100% free of advertisement for other people's channel, against other people's channel. Notice I even cut out the cursor. Okay. I don't know what that was. So, yeah, as Life in the Philippines sees it, people are really deceiving when it comes to God. Yep, they are. Okay. I lost, as soon as I started talking about God, it went from 17 people to 12. No one wants to hear about God, especially from Rabbi Drew Barker in the Philippines, baby.
Try to look in the other side.
Okay. Share the music. That was me for the $1. Samuel, maybe. Yeah, maybe you can unhide him, and I see that you just did. What are you looking for, Daisy?
The computer, maybe it shut out. I don't know.
Here?
Over there.
No,
Maybe mine.
it's okay.
It's still working.
Here is the computers right here. And there's 11 people still watching. If someone can still see this live stream, please leave a comment. Just put a bunch of X's and O's or zeros and tens or a million or a dollar, you know, dollar sign, any kind of sign. If you can still see this live stream, please leave a comment and I'll know it's still available. If you can see me, if you can't see me, well, then I'm ending the live stream as well, David. Hi. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I think I know what's happening. Scott, sometimes my chat window, hi, David, thank you. Sometimes my chat window, the chat disappears altogether. I don't know why it does that. What I do is I take the cursor and swerve it over the chat window, and all the comments come back to be visible. Samuel, if that man Share the Music wants to place an ad or an advertisement link, I would think that's okay. He did do a super chat donation. So I think if Share the Music is still there and you want to share that link again, be my guest. Thank you. So good morning. Oh, okay. All right, Share the Music. Thanks for explaining that. Well, thank you very well. It's not a little thank you. It's a big thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. And thank you. I'll just leave it at that. Yes. Okay, Samuel, that's right. But whoever was sharing. Anyway, so let's get back to Google Censor. Daisy, would you like to say, have you, everything that I just explained to you in this live stream about Google censorship, Daisy and I looked at about 15, I'm only using a roasted pig video because my roasted pig video compared to some of the others, I would say it's equal. Compared to some of the others, it's better, and compared to some of the others, it's garbage. My video was garbage compared to somebody else's, some of the other roasted pig videos. Okay, there's a guy who has 10 million views on a roasted pig video, but he videotaped the original process of gutting the pig, and then he videotaped them cutting up the vegetables, and then putting the vegetables in the pig, and then he videotaped the sewing up of the pig itself. And then he videotaped the roasting of the pig, and then he videotaped the carving of the pig, and then he videotaped the people eating the pig. That's a great video. Okay? Much better, 100 times better than mine. Although I have videos of the roasted pig that we ate that afternoon. It's not all in one video process. However, some of my videos are better than other roasted pig videos. So Google is just saying Michael Fazio talks about these controversial topics, and we are going to slip it in long, deep, and hard to Michael Fazio. And as long as Michael Fazio doesn't say anything too bad, we haven't given him. People are trying to take down some of the videos on my video page for whatever reason. Basically, I'm getting all kinds of hate comments, and I leave them all up, except the ones that call me a pedophile. And if you were to notice all the comments by the haters, not even one person has a real channel. So these are people that have nothing to do all day. They make channels. They maybe one person has 50 channels, and you're what? One lady, Pilates something, some Pilates lady, something with that. You're disgusting. I'm disgusting because I have a young Filipino girlfriend. Well, apparently this lady Pilates doesn't understand the culture here in the Philippines. This is acceptable as long as we get along and take care of one another and care for each other, and there's no drug or alcohol abuse, which there is not. Although I did get hammered yesterday on the beach at my friend's birthday party. They have this thing that they do. These are Indian people. They drink as much as I do, but these guys are professional alcoholics. So I'm only going to show you that on my Patreon account. We had a blast. But if they drink bottoms up, everybody in the group has to drink bottoms up. And nobody's glass stays empty. It is always full. So they'll fill everybody's glass up and they'll do a bottoms up and everybody has to drink. And that's just the way it is. So I'm a lightweight when it comes to alcohol. And I did 4 6-ounce glasses of Red Horse beer in about 90 seconds because that's what they did. So it wasn't just me. We were all hammered. And we had a blast. And it was pouring rain and we had a blast. They had a tarpaulin and they had some of the best foods I ever ate, cooked Indian style. We had fresh goat, fresh chicken, goat in like a tomato sauce with Indian spices, goat, broiled goat, barbecued goat, fried goat. Goat was on the menu. But as long as, getting back to the Pilates woman, whatever her name is, I forget. She said a month ago, she said, I'm disgusting for having a young girlfriend. And then yesterday, on one of my videos that are controversial, she again used the same word, you are disgusting. So apparently her understanding of English is limited, and she knows that the word disgusting is derogatory, and that's about all that most people would let her get away with. I'll leave the comment up there. But the Philippines culture is different. Okay, I'm older than Daisy's mother and father by several years, and they don't have a problem with this. Okay, Daisy gets treated well. I get treated well. There is true love between us. It may be another 10 minutes and that ends. Who knows? But it could be another 30 years. And hopefully I die before that so I don't become a burden to Daisy. But right now, we love each other and it's okay. She's never going to be abused physically. She's never going to go hungry. She's never going to go without whatever she needs to live. I can't promise her a lot now, but in the future, Daisy will have a lot. She has to learn to operate the computer the way when I'm teaching her of things that she has to do. And she's progressively getting better and better at things on the computer. So there is love between people of a different age group. I didn't think it was going to be possible. Before I moved to the Philippines, I'm going, what would I have in common with a 22-year-old woman? But we are working that out. So what we have in common is Daisy and I both keep the house relatively neat. We both enjoy each other's company. We laugh every day about something, even if it's the same thing we laughed about yesterday. Like, for instance, Daisy, tell them something that we laugh about.
What?
Tell them something that we laugh about.
I don't know what I forgot.
Palautot? Oh, palautot. It could be devastating. Okay, could be devastating if Daisy palautot, so I palautot. Okay, and that means pass gas. So if the hamut, it's either hamut, which is a smell, or
Good smell.
the good smell is hamut, and the baho is the bad smell. And sometimes, believe it or not, Daisy forces me to put the fan on high, open up the front door and the window, and go outside 5 or 6 feet away from the building after a good palauto. Okay? And sometimes I force Daisy out of the house. The real problem occurs with the laughter is if it's raining out and one of us drops a good palauto, then there's no place to go. You can't open up the window because it's a driving rain, It doesn't matter how high you put the fan on because it just swirls the hamut, I mean the bahut, around the house. And then we'll both sit there and laugh and blame it on each other. But we laugh every day about something. I hope you guys enjoyed that little sideshow we did there. Samuel Smith says, hello, Daisy.
Hi, Samuel.
Scott likes roasted pig. I would love to try a roasted wild pig. Bet that would be good. I kind of, like, in a way, never had a wild pig. I know they have those in where I lived in Florida in the Everglades, but I don't know if any of the roasted pigs I ever had were wild roasted pigs. They just grow pigs everywhere here. And I would think that wild pigs didn't exist because the people of the Philippines will eat anything. And if there was a wild pig population at one time, I don't think it exists anymore. Thought it was a shine. I'm missing the true meaning of the word shine, but I have a different understanding of the word shine. Like a shiner. No, not a shiner. A shiner would be a black eye. No, there are no black eyes. We don't hit each other. That would be a one-time experience. Now, I would never hit Daisy, but if she ever hit me in anger, that doesn't work. And it would only be one time. All right, you want to show the people your hair again? Samuel would like to see your hair. Samuel wants to see you do a turnaround with your hair. Yeah. Oh, it's very soft also, yeah, honey? Very soft. It's amazingly the difference between a hair. Now, I don't know how long this is going to last, and let's go over how much that costs. I spoke with another member of my Patreon account this morning, Gary Bonoyer. I try to speak with 2 or 3 members of my Patreon account a week. And Gary Bonoyer, he's been a member for quite a while, since the beginning, which started sometime early this year. He told me that his wife paid $100 to have her hair. His wife is Filipino, and he paid $100. And the price that Daisy paid yesterday was $18. So basically, if a person in America makes $100 a day, they paid 1 day's pay to have the hair straightened out. And this is what's unfair to the people of the Philippines. Friday, we paid 800 pesos. Was it 800 or 900? 800. Okay, 800. And then Daisy gave the man a tip. So let's just say we paid 900 pesos for the same product and the same quality job that's done in America. But the average Filipino only makes 300 to 350 pesos a day. So the average Filipino would have to work for 2.5 days or 3 days to pay for a hair straightening for their wife or girlfriend, for a laborer. A laborer. Okay, so it costs the Filipino 2.5 days pay, and it costs an American 1 day's pay, which is a ridiculous amount of money. I have to tell you. Now, the man did work on her hair for a solid 4 hours. He was pretty much always working. I wasn't in the beauty parlor for 4 hours. That's not me. Okay. I took a walk around and found a new market, a new vegetable market. And I found some new stores, and I made a couple of videos of some of the local. I found a vegetable market that I had never seen before because I don't go to that part of the island much. And it was amazing the difference in prices from one store to the other. Well, this is what I did. So from one store to another, one person, the first person I walked in, I said, "How much for the pepino?" She tells me 50 pesos a kilo. So I bought two. So that's really, it's $1 for 2 pounds or 50 cents a pound for cucumber. And then I walked around, and then the next price was 40 pesos. She was the first person off the street. Then I walked around further and went into the market a little bit deeper, and I got the same cucumbers from the same truck. One truck comes in and they deliver pallets of this stuff, and that was 35 pesos. So if you take the 35 peso price and the 50 peso price, it's a 15 peso difference. That's a 40% more money in one store than the other that I bought for 50 pesos, and then I got another price for 35. I bought another two big cucumbers. But if you shop, it pays to shop. But I found a new market altogether. And when I was in the city last week, cucumbers were 60 pesos per kilo, which I didn't buy. I would not pay 60 pesos, $1.50 for 75 cents a pound. I'm not paying 75 cents a pound for a cucumber, big pickle. Some people say, well, then, that's not a bad price. Well, it's a bad price in the Philippines because 50 pesos is an entire hour's wage for 2 pounds of cucumber to a Filipino. That's not reasonable. I also priced out that same day. We're doing a little bit of a cost of living. I also priced out that same day that potatoes are now 75 cents a pound or 150 pesos per kilo. When potatoes 3 years ago were 30 pesos a kilo. So it went up almost 5 times the price of potatoes. They're the same potatoes. They come from Mindanao. So the price of potatoes went up 5 times, 4.5 times. Actual price, 4.5 times. Garlic went from 60 pesos a kilo 3 years ago, and 4 years ago, the price didn't change. 60 pesos per kilo to 200 pesos per kilo this week and last week in the city. 200 pesos per kilo for small bulbs of garlic. That's a 330% increase. It was 60 pesos. 60 and 60 is 120. Plus, and another 60 is 180. And then 20 pesos is 30. It's a 230% increase for the price of garlic, which is basically a maintenance-free fruit. And if you really want to get sick, what's the name of the fruit with the big seed in it, the big flat seed? Yeah, the ones that they hang on the tree, and it's yellow and it has a big seed, big flat seed, sweet. Mango. Mangoes were 16 pesos a kilo 4 years ago. And now they're 100 pesos. Well, 100 in some stores, 95 in other stores, and 110 inside the market. Okay, so from 16, 6 times 16 is 106. Okay, no, 6 times 16 is 96. Okay, so it went up 500%, the price of mangoes in the Philippines in 4 years. When I got here, it was 16 pesos a kilo. You could buy two good-sized mangoes for 16, 17 pesos, depending on the weight. Things are getting expensive here in the Philippines. All right. So at this point, no one has any other questions. we're going to say goodbye. Thank you for all the commentary from Michael Fazio and
Daisy May
in the Philippines, baby. Okay, share the music. David makes a good commentary. Money is getting cheap. You have no idea what they're doing to the people in the Philippines. Now, Daisy and I, just to go back to have just a little bit, Pads, thank you. Have a great day yourself there. Daisy and I cut back on garlic. To be honest with you, we were eating 2 or 3 big bulbs of garlic a day, which would be 5 small bulbs of garlic a day. We cut back on that, and the food tastes almost as good, but we would put like 1 entire bulb of garlic and sometimes 2, fry it up, and have 3 eggs each. So for 6 eggs, we'd use 2 bulbs of garlic. It tastes really good, but I just decided that we're spending too much money on food. Another thing we cut back on is no more candy. We have candy left over from months ago, but we cut down. I had a piece of candy yesterday, 2 pieces the day before, like that, where I was eating 3 or 4 pieces a day, which is a lot. That's 2 or 3 times what I normally would eat. Normally, I don't have any candy in my life. But being that we had it in the refrigerator, I would have a piece of candy a day after dinner to kill my appetite. We cut that out because that's just junk food anyway. And it got expensive. It went from 40 pesos for 100 pieces, or less than a half a peso per piece, to 80 pesos for 100 pieces, which is almost, it doubled in the last 2 years. So candy is out. Something else that we don't eat much of is, we won't buy olive oil anymore because it has palm oil in it, whatever that is, or some sort of other oil mixed in. We cut that out. So it might not seem like much, but it's 1,700 pesos a year for the gallon that we buy. That's 1,700 pesos. We don't use olive oil much anyway, but now we're not having olive oil. We cut out, there is no butter or margarine. That is, butter is like $7 a pound for real butter. I haven't bought any real butter in the Philippines because that's just out of the question. I like butter. I don't need butter, and butter doesn't need me. So butter is gone. What else did we cut out, honey? Hamburgers. We did cut out hamburgers. The meat is only 300 pesos or $6 a kilo, which is $3 a pound. But we went on a hamburger spree where we were eating a kilo of hamburger meat a week. That's 2 pounds a week. And each hamburger, big quarter-pound hamburger, was 2 slices of bread. I gained a lot of weight from that, especially that I wasn't moving around so much. So we cut out meat, and what meat we use is, I actually like pork liver. And pork liver, it's to me, I don't care what people say about pork. I'm not interested about the worms or any of that stuff. I don't eat much pork, but I will eat it. I'm not afraid of the worms once they're cooked. It's just pure protein. But pork has gone up to 260, 280 pesos per kilo from 120 pesos a kilo 3 years ago. So pork has, again, pork went up 130, 140%. We cut out pork. We cut out hamburger meat. We cut out the roasted chickens because they used to be almost a full kilo, and now they're about less than 3/4 of a kilo weight. Used to be a roasted chicken, after it was roasted, was 1 kilo. Now it's about 3/4 of a kilo. And it went from 110 pesos for the roasted chicken to 200 pesos for a roasted chicken. In the city, 200. Go to Alona Beach, it's 300. And in other local small eateries, it's about, what are they, 175 now?
190.
190. Okay, they went up. Okay. But we cut those out. We cut out roasted chicken. So, and that's how we are cutting down on our expenses. We were spending upwards of the nearest I could figure. When you now, this isn't just food, but this, if you notice up on the top shelf there, there's, you can see 3 gallons, but there's 4 gallons of vinegar up there. Up, one is over to the side. 4 gallons of vinegar. A vinegar is only 108 pesos per gallon, but 2 years ago, the gallons that I was buying were 60 pesos. So that went up 80%. So I bought 5 gallons of vinegar so that it's kind of like an investment, because I eat vinegar with my cucumbers and I eat it on my salads instead of mustard. I mean, instead of mayonnaise. So we had to cut down on the cost of living drastically, because not because I don't have the money to spend on the food. We have the money to spend on the food, but it's not reasonable. I don't think the prices, the way they're raising the prices in the Philippines, are not reasonable to for Filipinos. Okay, it's just not reasonable. A Filipino should not have to spend an entire day's wages for a kilo of chicken, or roasted chicken. Now, a kilo of uncooked pork is 260 pesos. And by the time you take the fat off of it, it comes out to like 320 or 340 pesos for a kilo of meat. By the time you get the fat off of it, fortunately, the Filipinos eat the fat because it's good for them, because they're thin altogether to begin with. But I'm not going to pay. I'm not eating all that fat. If I buy pork, I want my pork cut with basically no fat on it. Small, a little bit around the outside. But they're selling pork for 280 pesos a kilo with fat, with a half. Do you need help?
No.
They're selling pork with a ½ inch of fat and rind around it. That's not reasonable. So I tell them, if you trim the fat off of it and give it to me for 280 pesos, I'll take the pork. And they'll say, no, this is the way it is. Okay, I don't want it. How much is the pork liver? Pork liver is still reasonable. You remember what we paid for that? 150? It was somewhere around 150 pesos a kilo. And I like the flavor more than I like the flavor of the pork. Okay, it's really hard to cook pork well. You can barbecue it, but being that I can't eat salt anymore, and I can't eat sugar, and I can't drink soy sauce, because my ankles will swell from this size, my ankle, normal size ankle, about 11 and a half or 12 inches, it'll go to 13 inches. That's how big my ankles will be 20 minutes after I drink. 20 minutes after I use a quarter ounce of soy sauce, my ankles will swell up 2 inches. I should do a live stream on that using a measuring tape and show you that there's some kind of poison in, and it's not salt, because I can eat regular salt without my feet swelling up so much, not to some degree, but a quarter ounce of soy sauce is going to make my ankles swell 2 inches in 35 minutes. So I cut out soy sauce, which I used to go through a half a pint bottle, 8 ounces. I would eat an 8-ounce bottle of soy sauce every month or so, because I liked it on my meat, my chicken, and my pork. Cut out pork, cut out soy sauce, cut out sugar, cut out candy, cut out Milo, which was 140 pesos a kilo 2 years ago. Now it's 230. So that went up 80%. A sugar product by Nestle. And if I drink Milo coffee, my ankles swell up the same way. Because whatever they're putting in this garbage it's giving me what is called edema on my feet and making my ankles swell up. So sugar, as Scott says, is absolute. Sugar is just white poison that tastes really good. It's not good for you. It tastes really good, but it's really not good for you. Scott says the hotel will be nice, but the education will be amazing. Yeah, I could sit down and talk with people for hours. Share the music says, I stick to a half a clove of garlic. I eat a half a clove of garlic raw while I'm cutting up the garlic. And I remember in the Godfather movie, he was slicing the garlic up in prison with a razor blade, paper thin. And then right after that part of the movie, if you remember, they were talking about shoelaces. And the guy was explaining why he keeps cleaning his shoelaces, or why you have to. About touching. Somebody touched their shoelaces. He told him to go wash his hands, I think it was. What's the difference? I'm just tying my shoelaces in the movie. And the guy made perfect sense. He goes, don't you realize when you stand in front of a urinal and you're taking a leak, it's called spatter, and it back splatters onto your shoes? And now you have urine on your shoelaces, and you're touching your shoes, and you come over here and you want to touch food. Get away from here. And I remember that scene in the movie. Yeah, and it's true, that is. It's like you wash your hands before you leave the bathroom. When I open up a bathroom door, I usually open it up with a pencil or a pen, and then I throw the pen back in my bag. I don't open it up with my hands. The bathroom door has more germs than the bathroom toilet seat. So you wash your hands, you open up the bathroom door, and now you have more germs on your hands than you would if you would have washed the toilet bowl out with your hand. Same thing with the refrigerator door handle. The dirtiest, most germ-infested piece of a house, two things are the most dirtiest and most germ-riddled things in the house, is the door handle on the inside of the bathroom door and the refrigerator door handle, because it has food bacteria for weeks or months at a time, just festering in that little brown film that you might see on somebody's refrigerator door handle. Those are the two dirtiest. And now the computer keyboard. Those are the three dirtiest, most germ-infested pieces of equipment in your house. Yeah, Scott, you're probably right. The NWO doesn't like having affordable retirement options where wage slaves can become free for their final years. Yeah, I never thought about it like that. I just think, well, I've seen the infrastructure in the Philippines be very much modernized. We have now modernized jeepneys with aircon in the front of the jeepney, but also with television screens and plush seats and shelving on the top. I have a video up on YouTube about that. We have better roads. When I first got to Bohol, we had 3 roads. It was like the entrance to the George Washington Bridge. But it was 20 kilometers long of bumpy garbage roads. You couldn't go more than 25 or 30 miles an hour without destroying the shocks on your vehicle. Now we have three roads, 20 plus kilometers long, perfectly flat concrete. They're building a huge airport. They spend billions and billions of pesos in Bohol. The lights in Bohol are now, they tell you there's 10 seconds left before the light's going to turn green or red. And now they put crosswalks in. And on the long roads in Bohol and on the long roads in the mountains, they have lights. Lights that are they're battery lights. They take a 3-inch 4-inch cut into the ground. They pop that section out, and they put a canister with solar energy lighting. So now you can look down the road half a kilometer and see lights every 10 feet. They're not every 30 feet. They're every 10 feet, which is really nice. It keeps the people from going off out of their lane at night on these dark roads. They've done a lot of work to the Philippines, but I don't know. I don't see how garlic, which they stick in the ground, can. The price of fuel went from 28 pesos per gallon, per liter, or 100 pesos, 112 pesos a gallon. It's 112 pesos for 4 liters. Now it's 212 pesos per liter. So that went up 100%. But that doesn't affect the cost of garlic. Come on, that you can't, because the price of fuel doubled, the price of garlic doubled. It didn't even double. It went up much more than that. Scott says maybe it's the monosodium glutamate. Well, it doesn't say, yeah, that's, I had this conversation with someone recently. The chemical monosodium glutamate is 100% responsible for making my ankle swell up. But if I read the contents of the soy sauce, it only, let me get this. I'll get it. We have a gallon of soy sauce up there? Yeah, right? Hold on. I'll get the gallon. I'll read it to you. And I'll read you something else that does it also. Yeah, please. Okay, so I'm going to read to you what's on the label. This product here, which this is now just like rock salt. It's good salt, but it's not anodized salt. This product here is made by McCormick. This is, but not what's in this bottle. This was originally something called lemon pepper. And if you read the ingredients, it says salt, black pepper, acidulants with an S, spices, sugar, free-flowing agent, natural lemon, and then it says flavor, natural or lemon flavor, vegetable oil, and FD&C yellow coloring. It does not say MSG. But something in this makes my feet swell up 2 inches in a half an hour if I sprinkle a little bit on my meal. It don't have to be a lot. And this one, soy sauce is it's just as bad. It says ingredients: soybeans, wheat protein, salt, and caramel flavoring. It does not say MSG, but they have new rules. The FDA has new rules, and the way they put labeling on packages, they don't have to say it has MSG in it anymore. All they have to say is it has flavoring. And now, under the heading of flavoring, they can add MSG. Knowing that people are allergic to MSG, they figured out a way not to put it on the label. So now flavoring and MSG are combined as one product, flavoring, even though if it said MSG, no one would buy it because it's just poison MSG. That's how they got around this. So whatever MSG, I agree with Scott 100%. It is an MSG-based product, but I can't prove it because you can't see the word MSG on there. But natural flavor like pepper or natural lemon or natural anything, it doesn't make my ankle swell up. But any of the McCormick products, it doesn't matter what it is. Any Nestle product, whether it's chocolate, cocoa, Milo, the Nestle 3-in-1 coffee, any one of those products will make my ankle swell up 2 inches in 35 minutes. So they work. It's just another way for the food industry to screw you and screw up your life, and everybody's okay with this. The lobby industries for the doctors, the MDA is okay with this, because the more they screw up your kidneys, liver, and heart and lungs and every other aspect of the internal workings of your body, is the more medicine, more money that you're going to spend on medicine. Sounds like a conspiracy, but it's the truth. They want you to, they don't want you to die. They want you to get sick so that you give them back any of the earnings that you made your entire life into the medical industry. And they say, sorry that you got sick, but it's going to cost you $1 million to stay alive for another year. You know, I have to tell you, that's upsetting to me, that a man and a woman could work their whole life to save, to buy a house and have a few $100,000 savings in the bank, and one sickness wipes them out and they have to sell their house and move into a 2-room apartment. That's not fair. That's just not fair. And I can't say what I want to say. I could tell Scott what I want to say. No, actually, I can't tell Scott what I would like to say, but I don't agree with it. Yeah, I'm not losing any weight, buddy. By sitting in this chair, I gained 1 belt size since my foot was injured. I gained 1 notch, so I gained 1 inch on my waist, which is not bad. I could gain 3 inches on my waist in a week if I don't watch what I eat. Today I had 3 eggs and 1 piece of white bread. I didn't have any white bread yesterday, so I had 1 piece of white bread this week. Okay, Scott Del Fuego says soy sauce has levels of glutamate similar to foods with added monosodium glutamate. However, 5% or more of the glutamate may be the I don't know that word. The D in nanotoma. Oh, okay. The denenglioma. It's a new word. Okay. Well, maybe. I don't know. But then going back to the McCormick spices and going back to the Milo, it's just poison for me. So I cut out everything. Now this little bottle that I'm going to show you here, this little container. You want to talk about the cost of living increase? Let me look for the price on this. It tripled in price in 2 years. Okay. When I first got to the Philippines, this was filled up right to the top. When you opened up the paper lid on the top here, it was filled right to the top with lemon pepper. Now, of course, there's going to be some settling, but basically it was a 1/4 inch down from this lip here. And I don't know what the weight was, but it never was. And I bought this product, the same product, until a year ago. So the first product, there was 2 different flavors that I bought. They were both filled up to the top. And it was $5 for this. Whatever $5 was in pesos, it was actually $5 American. Now it's $9 for lemon pepper. So it went up 45%. And what's in lemon pepper? Salt, pepper, and lemon spices. Mostly lemon peel, and then they add something that tastes like lemon in it. But it went up 45. No, it went from $5 to $9. It went up 90%. 90% for salt and pepper. It's ridiculous. Yeah, Pads, I don't eat any I don't eat prepared foods at all. We don't we have cans of I can't eat anything with sauce. Any kind of tomato sauce in the Philippines, my ankles swell up from 11.5 to 13 inches instantly. Any sauce, even for 2 or 3 ounces of sauce on a whole meal, I can't eat that anymore because of what they originally I could eat their sauce, but now I can't. Yep, David, we are slaves. We're slaves that see, and you know, I'm not so much a slave to the system as other people are, but I was. I had just one mortgage for my house in America was $3,850, and I had 2 other mortgages, another $2,000. So I needed for my mortgages somewhere around $5,800 a month, only for my mortgages. That didn't cover taxes or insurances. Okay, that's ridiculous what I was paying. I was paying when I bought my house. My yearly insurance was $1,700, and because they changed the zoning of the house, and they estimated my house at $200,000 when I bought it, because they reevaluated the neighborhood, they reevaluated my house at $1.3 million, and my taxes supposedly they're only supposed to go up 3% in Florida, but they went up a lot more than that. So I don't like to call him my real estate broker because what a piece of garbage this guy was. I said, how can I fix that? He said, well, make your business, make your house into a corporation, put it under a corporation. So from like $2,500, my insurance, my taxes were on my house. I made my house, I put it underneath a corporation. I paid a lawyer to create the corporation. My taxes went up to $7,000 a year the first time the government found out I changed my property over to a corporation. And then they were allowed to raise it to where at the end, my property taxes were $12,000 a year from $1,700. How can you, what the fuck am I paying $12,000 a year for? I'm paying for children that I didn't have in school. I have one garbage pail every 2 weeks of garbage. I don't use the police department. I don't use the fire department. You know, like there's no need for the fire department to come and inspect my building yearly for fire extinguishers or anything like that. I never had any problems where the police had to come. Once I did, but it wasn't my fault. The guy downstairs let his kid walk off the dock, and I saved the kid's life. So, what am I paying $12,000 a year for? I had a vacant lot that I was paying, I think $1,100 a year in taxes on a vacant lot that was only worth $100,000. And then I had another property on the water. Because we bought the property and put plans in place to put a deck and dock system in, the value of the property went from $325,000, what we bought it for, to like $700,000. And because it was a third property and not under the Homesteaded Act in Florida, I think we were paying close to $4,000 in taxes a year on just that. one property, and I was paying another $1,000 on a different piece and $7,000 on mine, on my own house. What am I paying taxes for, though? I never used their school system in 13 years that I was in the house. I never used any of the services from the fire department. They never put out a fire or had a check. I was paying $12,000 a year for nothing. They're raping everybody. I said, I'm enough of this. I'm moving to the Philippines. Now, I have videos from 2011 that I made from my first channel saying, F this, I'm moving to the Philippines, baby. And I did. And it pictures of me walking around my property getting ready to clean it up for the mortgage company, because I lost my 3 properties from failure to pay. Well, my mortgages were $5,800 a month, and my tax was $12,000 a year, and my insurances were $12,000 a year. I had to pay for my house $9,000 a year because I lived on the water and I had a racing boat in the backyard. The boat has nothing to do with the house, but because I had a racing boat on the property, an ocean racer, my insurance went up an additional 20%. That was one problem. The second thing, I was paying insurance on a piece of property that was a vacant lot, fenced off with nothing on it. No septic tank, no electric, no water, nothing. I was paying insurance. I had to have that property insured in case somebody went on the property and fell down. I think I was paying an additional $1,200 a year for that insurance, even though it was a fenced off lot with a do not enter, no house, no structure, no way for anybody to get hurt. I got the grass cut. Nope. $1,200 a year. They're raping us. It's not a question of are they raping us? It's a question of how much they're raping you. My insurance for my ocean racer, you want to get sick? It was $700 the first year. And I had a $30,000 mortgage on the boat because I didn't want to pay for the boat outright cash, because it would have been difficult to explain dropping all that money on a boat cash. So I put a mortgage on the boat. Okay, so I have the boat 1 year, and the next year the insurance went to $1,700. Went from $700 to $1,700 for no reason. For no reason at all. I didn't have any accidents. I didn't get any tickets for DUIs or anything like that. I didn't have no reason. Just went from $700 to $1,700. And that year we had Hurricane something in 2005. And my insurance went from $1,700 to $16,800 in 1 year, because so many boats were wiped out. The insurance company had to pay off so many boats. My insurance went up 10 times the insurance. So I said, what is this? Are you serious? You have a mortgage on your boat, Mr. Fazio. If you don't pay the insurance, we'll have to repossess your boat, and you'll be fined all kinds of money. So I said, how can I solve this problem? And it was the bank. It was TIB Bank. I said, how can I solve this problem? She said, well, you'll have to pay off the mortgage. I said, how much is the mortgage? How much is left on the mortgage? She said, I think it was $22,000. But I'll be there in half an hour. We'll just switch the money from one account to pay off my boat. Well, are you sure you want to do that? Because that's a large portion of your savings. And then just take the money from the bank, give it to me in my hand, and I'm going over to the insurance part of the company and I'm paying off the loan. It was $23,000 actually. And they wanted to keep the money in the bank so that they could collect interest. So, but at that point, it would cost me an additional $15,000 more for insurance each year. So in 10 years, to pay off the rest of the loan, I would have paid $170,000 in insurance only for a $23,000 loan. Well, if I didn't have that $23,000, I would have had to pay them $17,000. Say I only had 12,000, or say I only had $18,000, and I couldn't pay off the boat. I could give them 18,000, but I still had a mortgage on the boat, or I would have still had to give them $17,000 the next year. They just rape you. There's no way around it anymore. There's just no way around it. Natural salt doesn't affect me so much. It has to be a hidden ingredient. You're right. Okay, Illinois. Well, that's a criminal organization. Anything that has to do with Illinois, I mean, it starts off with the word ill, and Obama came from Illinois. You know that everything, God's in the scheme of things. If there was a God and he made Obama born in Illinois, well, you know, nothing's good is ever going to come out of Illinois except Scott Del Fuego when he retires. $16,000 a year on homestead. Holy shit. All right, then, David, it's crazy. It is crazy. Scott, have a nice day. I'm going to just say goodbye. I'm done talking. It's I don't know how many hours it is. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's enough. Daisy's come and say goodbye, honey. Again, we're done. God bless. Whatever God is, whatever that God-like being is, God bless. From Michael Fazio and in the Philippines, baby. Bye-bye, Scott. I know I'm still on live stream for those of you who are still there. I have to do something with my documents. I copied down the comments, and the reason I do that is because that gentleman threw up a $1 super chat, and the next time we go out for lunch, we will make a super chat dinner and mention his name. So thank you for that donation. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I go to my live stream document and screenshots, and I copy all the comments down so that I know who is being naughty and who is being nice. But more to the point, I just like to keep a record, and I can't see the chat in most of the videos after the video is shut down. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, or I don't know if I'm not setting up the initial live stream properly. So what I do is I'll tell you how to do it. You make a document in Word, and then you go to the bottom of the chat window and highlight it, and just scroll up, and you capture every chat from Scott Del Fuego saying, "How are you?" and Samuel at the top, and then you capture that. Now, when you post it, now what you're going to think is going to happen. I'm doing a little teaching here. What you think happens is you copied it, right? And now I'm going to paste it right now. I'm going to paste it. So I don't know how many seconds will go by. So right now it's initiating, it's loading. It could be 10 seconds, but it has taken up to 3 or 4 minutes. Don't click the paste button twice. Just keep waiting on the window. Keep your video document opened up and just wait for the initializing bar to process the information. It takes a long time because it's taking metadata off the background of the chat window. And I don't know what it's taking, but it takes stuff that we can't understand what it is. It's computer stuff. So even now, I started it at 11:18. It's now 11:19 on my clock. It's actually 12:19. It's still initiating. So don't get frustrated. Just copy the chat. If you do live streams, copy it. Go to your Word document, open it up. I take a screenshot of, okay, it just posted. I take a screenshot of my window and then I copy the chat. So whatever it took, about 90 seconds today. So that's relatively fast. And then I saved that information. So I have a screenshot, and believe it or not, I remember from the screenshot what video live stream I did. So with that, I'm going back and I'm going to end the stream. Going to say goodbye again. And this time it's for real. 19 watching. Thank you, Samuel. Bye-bye for now, Samuel. God day to you as well. And I don't know what messed up. I don't see anything messed up, Samuel. You did great. Thank you once again. We'll talk to you probably sometime at the end of the week. Okay, for now, again, David, have a nice day. Thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye for now. Humping Permy. Yep. Amul Kolagayan, bye. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, I'm having trouble hitting this button. Here we go. I'm ending it. Amul, thanks for stopping by. Have a great day. Yes, it is. It's over.